I'm here talking to Mitch and Angelika Sadar from the Philadelphia area in Pennsylvania, or actually, you can tell me the exact location where you are. Wanted to just have a conversation with you, found out a little bit more about what you do there at your center. To start with, just wanted to find out how both of you got involved in the health field.
In the
Health
health field.
field. Well, yeah. I mean, we're each trained as clinical psychologists. We each got our licenses in the early '80s, and we've been in the general field since. We got more involved, or we got real involved in biofeedback. I got some training in EEG biofeedback in '99. Shortly thereafter, I became aware of HRV and began using that. And Ange followed in, I think, like 2001, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So,
And how did you meet?
How did we meet? We met in graduate school.
Okay.
This is going back so long. We met when
she's forgot.
we actually have an anniversary coming up.
Oh.
So yeah, we met in graduate school.
And when did you get involved with sports?
Oh, well, we each have been involved personally. We each did college sports. We still like spectator sports. We still do tennis. Mitch does golf. We are pretty active physically. Um, and then the way we got involved with it was, oh, again, when Mitch started with the biofeedback, with the neurofeedback, I started to look up some things um, about how you can work with athletes. And then from there, we readily saw the application of the biofeedback and the neurofeedback to sports. It was very clear to us. And so with that, that again goes back to the early, you know, early like 2001, 2000, and there weren't many people doing sports psychology, and certainly many, many less doing sports psychology with biofeedback. So we just kept being intrigued with it, and
So you mentioned tennis and golf. Do you work mostly with people who play tennis and golf, or do you work with other sports?
we we really see a variety. Ange has seen girls who are gymnasts. I've worked with some basketball players, some football players. I worked with a skeet shooter.
baseball.
Yeah, I mean anybody that walks in the door actually.
So when they come in or when they contact you, what are they saying? What's their goal?
To do better.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. One of the things that happens is people, will think that sports psychology means they have a problem.
Uh-huh.
Um, and so they come in either because somebody else thinks they have a problem or because they think they have a problem. And I think very early on, we want to re-educate them that we're working with them on peak performance. We want them to do their best, just more of the time. So with that, we really want to make it a positive experience for them.
And so both of you have a psychology background, and of course there are things that you do or can do with athletes with that background. How does the biofeedback and neurofeedback fit in? What do you tend to do with the athletes with that?
Well, to give a simple viewpoint, the better you focus, the better you will do in sports or in anything, but certainly sports. I mean, the more you can really zero in on the play or the swing or the shot or whatever. So we will use the biofeedback to maximize attention and focus. The other thing is there is an optimal level of arousal for whatever you're going to do. If you aren't sufficiently aroused, you aren't going to do as well, and if you're overly aroused, you aren't going to do as well. So we use the biofeedback to help a person be able to attain that maximum level of arousal for whatever their sport is.
Great. And I saw also on your website that you work with ADHD and pain, I believe. So can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Your turn.
With ADHD, many of the people that come here have tried other things, either therapy or medication, or they don't want to use medication. They're looking to avoid that. And so for us, we want to look at how is the brain making ADHD. There are different biomarkers that have been identified in terms of how the brain can make ADHD. So chances are we're going to do a QEEG, a quantitative EEG with them. And we'll start out with heart rate variability just about with everybody, because we're really wanting them to have a tool that they can use outside of the office. And then we'll add the neurofeedback and then personal coaching. We also really want to look at how are they managing their use of electronics. If there's excessive electronics going on, we want to address that with them. We want to address sleep. We want to address their nutritional status, as well as their physical activity. So we really expect the patient to also be contributing to what's going on. They play an important role in the level of improvement that they see. With pain, it's a little bit different. We will also teach them the heart rate variability. Chances are we're not going to right off the bat do a QEEG. With that, we'll more likely work on just their level of arousal, their brain activation. We want to calm them down. So everything is aimed at quieting them. Lots of times we'll have them have some private yoga sessions so that they can do some yoga at home. They feel really limited in their physical activity. So we get a doctor's order for that because we don't want to do something that they shouldn't be doing.
Right.
And then we also will use something called bioresonance or pulsed electromagnetic therapy with them to help kind of relax the cells in their body. So for the pain, they both have a comprehensive approach, but they have different approaches.
And with all the time when we talk about biofeedback and neurofeedback, always the question comes up about insurance. Do you work with insurance at all at your center?
We do. What we do is we're able to bill the insurance for an office visit. All of our sessions are an hour long. We schedule on the hour and it lasts the whole hour. So we're able to bill part of that session for the insurance. And then we have seen a very few insurances. We're in Pennsylvania. There are not many that cover biofeedback. There are many that say they cover biofeedback, but we're very restricted diagnostic categories. But at any rate, so they will pay for the biofeedback as an add-on service.
Right. And like with some of the athletes, are they coming in just for a fee for service and just paying for the service that you're providing as far as the training?
In many cases, yes, but I'm going to say also in many cases, what I tell the athletes is you take the same brain everywhere you go.
Uh-huh.
So if they have problems, if it's, say, a college athlete, if they have problems staying focused on the field, chances are they have problems staying focused in a classroom. So in that case, there is a clinical diagnosis.
Right. And speaking of students, do you do much work with besides someone who maybe has been diagnosed with ADHD, just in general, where a student just wants to be able to perform better, and not necessarily the student themselves, but their parents want them to perform better in school, even without a diagnosis. Do you see much of that?
Well, we certainly do that. We do not see as much of that as we think we should. I mean, I think everybody can get better, but that I wouldn't say that that's a large part of our practice.
Uh-huh.
That's an occasional part.
Yeah, I kind of see it as something that might be starting to grow, because school is seems to be getting tougher,
Yes.
and I think students can use some help. So I think we're gonna start to see that change.
Yeah, I agree. And Ange is in the process of perhaps working with a tutoring company,
Hmm.
to kind of get some overlap there.
Sounds good. And so exactly where are you located? I know I said Philadelphia area, but that's probably not exactly where you are, right?
So northwest suburb, Valley Forge is where the office is, close to Valley Forge Park.
Okay.
Yeah, it's about 20 miles away from Philadelphia.
Uh-huh. Okay. I was actually when I was down near your center, I guess that was the park that you're talking about. There was all sorts of historical looking things in the area, and so before I got on the highway to get back to New York, I got out the car and kind of walked around and took some
That
Oh,
was
pictures and
good.
good,
stuff.
That was
Yeah,
good.
good.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
It's a beautiful park.
It
Yeah.
is. It's a beautiful area. When I get back down there, I have to spend a little bit more time.
Yeah, that was a quick visit.
Right. So how do people get in touch with you? The website, what phone numbers, whatever, for people to find out more.
Phone is 610-933-9440, and the website is www.sadarpsych, so SADARPSYCH.com.
Okay. And anything I didn't ask you that you think of that you might want to say before we end?
Harry, you did a great job. Thanks.
You're welcome. It's great to talk to you as usual, and I'm sure I'll be seeing you soon.
Let's. I'm not sure this is appropriate. If it isn't, you can cut it out. But we're 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 very very involved in the Northeast Regional Biofeedback Society, and there's a conference coming up which Ange is putting together.
Of course, yeah.
What if you talk about that?
Okay, that's going to be, I don't know if you can do this, October 18th through 23rd at Spalding Labuschagne Rehab Center, part of Harvard Medical School. Bessel van der Kolk is our keynote speaker, and we have a ton of other presenters representing a real good cross-section of the biofeedback field.
Yeah, so that sounds like a great event. The Northeast Regional Biofeedback Society has been around for quite a while, and it's we put on great conferences. You guys are doing a great job with the organization, and I think sometimes we have a conference in the spring and sometimes in the fall or both. And the lineup of presenters seems to be getting better and better. So it's great work you're doing. And just in case anybody is watching this after the conference has passed, I'm sure there'll be another one coming up. So the website for the Northeast Regional Biofeedback Society, if I remember correctly, is nrbs.org,
Right.
right? And if you go on there and look to see for what events are coming up, there'll probably be a conference posted. If the one that we just talked about has already passed, there'll be whatever the next one is will be posted on the website, and you can get on the email list and get notified when anything is coming up. But if you're definitely in the Northeast area, it would be a good organization to be in touch with. So thanks for bringing that up, Mitch. And I enjoyed talking to you as usual, and talk to you again soon.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Harry.
Harry.
You're welcome.